I'm Matt Mulcahy. I anchor the news on Channel 3. I've been reporting on the process of hiring Dr. Parvey. By the way, welcome Dr. Parvey to Central New York and to the district. I became curious about the process of the FM School Board the evening of January 12th when Dr. Parvey's name appeared on the agenda for confirmation as the new superintendent. I watched the meeting on the video feed. President Fitzgerald announced item 4.01. She read the resolution, appointing Dr. Parvey as the next superintendent. She asked for discussion. There was none. Not a word. Then the vote, 8-1 in favor, followed by President Fitzgerald commenting, "I know we don't normally talk after a vote, but we're excited." So to recap, no discussion before the vote for a generational change in leadership and a reluctance to speak about it afterwards. I wondered, how could a board possibly have decided on Dr. Parvey but have nothing to say about her, or any of the other candidates who applied to lead this prestigious district? It was also apparent that President Fitzgerald and the board knew the outcome of the vote in advance, a fait accompli, which was for Dr. Parvey, who was already in the room. Somehow this board had discussed, decided, and voted without ever talking about the finalists in public. So I dug deeper into what happened, read agendas, watched meetings, talked with people, and the more I heard President Fitzgerald say she enjoyed spending so much time with all of you, the more I wondered how the board met, how many at once, when, and where. Well, Dr. Matt Cook, who's here tonight with BOCES, consulted on this search, and he confirmed the entire board was there for all the interviews. Now, a simple majority of the board makes a quorum. And of course, a quorum of a public body doing public business activates New York's open meetings law, which, by the way, has a provision for being confidential, like you'll use in just a couple of minutes, where you call a public meeting, you go into executive session for very specific reasons, and everything's confidential. You met for each round of interviews. They were off-site. You all were there. When I brought the facts to Kristen Smith from the Committee on Open Government, she said, "I'm unaware of any other law that would have exempted this meeting from the open meetings law." Dr. Cook admitted he was not an expert on open meetings law. He said maybe there was a personnel exception, but he said this is the way it was done across the state. Committee on Open Government said, "I'm not aware of that being a regular practice." I turned to a different source, make sure I was getting it right. The law firm of Ferrara and Fiorenza. On its own website, easy to find information, they write, "It's important to note that any official convening of a public body for the purpose of conducting public business is subject to the open meetings law." Of course, you're familiar with Ferrara and Fiorenza. They're your lawyers. They went on to point the high stakes of open meetings law. A failure to comply with the rules can subject the Board of Education to a declaratory judgment or injunctive relief, nullifying decisions made improperly or behind closed doors. They go on to say it's essential for the credibility of the board to follow it. Now, after President Fitzgerald and the crisis communications consultant selected a friendly television station to do an interview on our competing station, they declined to talk to us, although to President Fitzgerald's credit, we talked on the way in tonight. But that's what all brings me here, to ask you the questions that so far you're not answering for the community. The two questions are simple. I'll leave you with these. Did you ever ask your lawyers if the process you used was legal? If so, what was their answer? And now that you are hearing this, what are you going to do to rectify the mistake? Thank you.